Hey everybody, and welcome back to CCLP4. We're on level 31, Big Boulder Alley, which is a level whose namesake came from something really tough. If you haven't seen my Frogger Let's Play yet, I highly recommend checking it out. Shameless plug here. I played through this level, and it was quite a thing. It was basically a level that was a harder version of a previous level in the set, or I call it a set. Chips Challenge terminology, but the game, I guess, is a better way of putting it. I actually forgot how to do this, but we'll see if we can figure out as we go along. We have to basically just block up these clone machines. Thankfully, this level is not as difficult, so you can just figure it out as you go along, and we totally mess that up. Alright. You don't want to push that block to the right, you just want to, or you want to push it to the right, but not further to the right, so let's just make sure of that. Yeah, Frogger, it's funny, you know, a lot of people didn't really seem to like the game very much, like, critically, just because it was, graphics-wise, not exactly the best thing, and gameplay-wise, it was very difficult in places, especially the level we've been talking about. But, personally, I wasn't bothered by that. I guess I've just never understood the obsession with making things accessible. I mean, and I'm saying that as someone who led the staff for CCLP1 and Chips Challenge. So yes, I did make a set whose aim was to be accessible. But at the same time, my aim wasn't to water it down to be as accessible to as many people as possible. I mean, even I know that Chips Challenge is a very niche kind of game, and there's going to be a certain type of person who's going to like it. So, I don't know. It's a fine line to walk, and I appreciate that the Frogger game from 1997 didn't hold back on the difficulty. Alright, I'm trying to remember what we did here. I think you have to block up that cloner there. This part's a little weird because you might think you have to go over there to the right with the water space and then jump into that stream of balls, but that's actually not it. You have to approach that ball stream over from this side, which is a lot more economical because that way you have more access to stuff over here than you would otherwise. Because you really want to make sure that this clone machine over here isn't blocked, because otherwise you would pretty much be sunk once you got to this point. So, alright, just a little pro tip there. And did I just trap myself? I think I just did. That's unfortunate. Alright, let's try this again. This is what happens when you start the level saying, "It's not hard at all, it's totally easy, not like that Frogger thing." It's still easier than the Frogger thing. It really is. Because that one, you had a bunch of things that were dexterity oriented. You had to like jump across these areas with bugs coming at you in an opposite direction. And then you had a bunch of things that were very timing heavy on top of that. And then you had this section in one area that was very luck-based. I think there technically is a pattern to it, but it's very difficult to discern if it exists. And it might as well be luck-based, so yeah, the whole level is just very much frustrating. So, I got a question I wanted to ask you guys. So this is more of a personal thing, and I've been struggling with this lately, and so I wanted to see if there's other people out there who also struggle with this. Do you guys ever, like, if you're, I'm asking this for those of you who are out in the dating world, if you're not that, like, old enough for that yet, or you're not, you know, interested in being in a relationship, or if you already are in a relationship, maybe you've had experience in this, but for those of you who have been in the dating world and who have struggled through it, I gotta ask you guys, do you ever struggle with this idea of, you know, trying to let go of a relationship that just will never work out? Like, and I'm talking about this from the perspective of being in a position where at one point or another you feel like you could see it working out, and you invest all kinds of time and energy into this possibility. You know, it's not even for real yet, it's just a possibility. And then when it crumbles, you feel like, oh man, it's kind of like Zaphod Beeblebrox said in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, "I guess I'm going to have to find something else for my whole life to be all about." Like, you know what I mean? I know it sounds like maybe a really trite way of putting it, but it really is kind of how that feels, you know? And I've been kind of going through that lately. Every time, either I go through a breakup, which happened only once, but or I go through a situation where, you know, a potential relationship just doesn't work out. I guess I'm just that type of person who wants to pour like my whole heart and soul into things, and it's really hard when the thing I pour myself into just doesn't happen. So, anyway, and here's what's really tough about it. A lot of people love to say this phrase to me, and it drives me crazy. The phrase is basically, so this didn't work out, but it's okay. Just imagine how much better the real thing is going to be. The real thing? See, here's the problem with that. I get the heart that comes from. I really do. But the problem with saying it to someone who's actively in the middle of getting over somebody is that they still have that somebody on their minds, and what you're basically setting them up for is thinking that the real thing is going to involve, in some capacity, the qualities that the somebody they're trying to get over possesses. And that doesn't help. It really doesn't help. And I don't mean to sound callous about it or anything, but it's just not very helpful. Anyway, rant over. This level is called Blended Brussels Sprouts, and it's basically an all-green level. I really want to make a level like this in my next set. I've been trying to get back into design lately, and it's funny because I feel like since the last time I really delved into designing levels, we've kind of had a level design renaissance in the CC world, and I'm trying to just kind of take things from that, you know, just really process stuff from that. This section is really cool. You kind of have to create these nails here, and then do this little dexterity bit here, and we messed that up, so we're going to have to redo it. But we made it! Alright, moving on to Tool Shed. Choose your tools wisely. One must be left behind. Oh, I forgot to mention, the previous two levels were designed by Jeffrey. This is an Andrew Menzies level, which you guys might remember from the other 100 Tiles Let's Play if you've seen it. So this level, let's see, we need either fire boots or flippers there. We'll need, let's take a look at this room here. We'll need either fire boots and flippers, or ice skates and flippers, or ice skates and suction boots, or fire boots and suction boots. So we basically need 2 boots for that room. And let's see. Over here, we will definitely need some suction boots. So that much we can deduce. Either that or just ice skates. We could get by with just the skates. And then over here we've got a bunch of green doors, and then either a blue door or a yellow door that we have to get. And up here we've got another door puzzle. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we can use either the blue or yellow key there. So the keys are interchangeable. That's not an issue. Alright, then over here we definitely need suction boots if we're even going to get into that whole thing. So it's looking like the boot that we don't really need is the ice skates. So let's run with that. I would have had to figure that puzzle out eventually if I didn't do it there. So I figured we'd go ahead and do it before we made any mistakes, right? So let's go ahead and do this here. Alright, let's take a look at what we got over here. We got the rest of the keys that we can use. Alright, so we need suction boots. Let's go for suction boots next. So with this, we can actually get 2 keys. We can get the one here in the lower left, but we can also get the one in the lower right as well, because we only need 1 pair of boots for there. And we're already using it right now, so that's not a problem. Hey. Alright, and then why don't we grab one of these, and we'll grab one of these. We still need to get that chip there as well. I guess you could have deduced from the hints that you need to leave a tool behind, but I shouldn't have spoiled that it was a boot, necessarily. Alright, why don't we grab the blue key? We'll do that. And then up here we can grab... Oop, I think somebody in the comments section once asked me what that sound was. I don't remember if it's that sound or something else. That's actually my motion detector thing on my door. I've got one of those to so I can detect people who come in. Alright, so we need flippers if we're going to get up there, don't we? Yeah, because we can get through the other stuff just fine. So the level makes you think that you might need to use a yellow key and a blue key there, but you really need to use the boots there, because the keys are absolutely necessary in that area. And unlike keys, boots can be used more than once, so that's really cool. And now we got the last key that we can use for the last chip, which is right down here. Overall, I really like this level a lot. It's a good introduction to kind of what I like to call the logic types of puzzles in this game, because you basically have to use logic in order to deduce what boot you don't need. So, really neat level. Anyway, moving on to Frozen Waffle. This is a level by Jeffrey. And this is actually the first time in Chips Challenge history that we don't have a cipher level in this position. And that is because we are doing something a little different here for this set, and that is using secret hints. And I will look at that first one out there after we are done with this level. So it looks like in order to get this around, I'm going to need... Let's see, where are we getting this to begin with? We're getting it over there. Okay. I think we're getting it over there. Okay, so this is the one that's a little more complicated. This one, I need to get down there. I like how this whole thing basically expands as you construct or get tools and whatnot, and I think I may have messed that up. Did I? No, I didn't. Just need to do that and go here. Okay, so now we can grab some suction boots, because the next place we're going to go is simply pushing the block onto the trap button, which is really easy. Just need to do this. Alright, so the hint says secret password number 1, W-T-A. So let's take a look at that. By the way, you guys may hear some banging around out there. That's because there are some guys outside painting the apartment walls and whatnot. So that's what's going on. Let's take a look at that password. W-T-U-H. Ice in a blender, level 51. Alright, we'll come back to that eventually. You guys get to get spoiled on what levels come between those. But for now, we're going to move on to the next level, Chasing Ships, which is another Cyber Smack level. And this one, I wasn't really quite as hot about this before the set came out. But now that I've played it several times and optimized it, I really enjoy it. It's kind of similar to Hunt in some respects, except it's harder because you actually have to get all the chips. And there's more teeth at that, so you have to be really cautious about how you proceed here. But, much like Hunt, you can use some tactics that allow for trapping the teeth. The other thing going on here is that this level presents to you this, this set of corner rooms, which have chips in them. Or, not chips, keys. And the keys allow you to get inside these cages with chips in them. That's what I meant to say. Woo! That was close. So yeah, this level is kind of a big chase, but once you get the hang of it, it's really not that hard. I think the harder part is actually these corner rooms, because a lot of these monsters can come into close proximity with you. The other tricky thing about this is optimizing it, because inevitably you're going to come up with situations where you have these monster ordeals, and you pretty much have to decide, okay, how am I really going to handle this, and can the monsters behave in such a way that I don't have to go outward more? So that's kind of a tricky bit, but I'm not worried about it here. Alright, we'll leave you guys up there for now. Let's go around this side. So we got two of the cages dealt with. This one's kind of interesting. I feel like that one's a little easier because you get more space in MS, at least the boosting helps. Alright, so we get those, come down here, and we can get inside another cage. I'm going to do it thin so we can prevent the teeth from really interfering there. And then we get the last key right here. One thing I really like about this level is that the pattern of the keys in the corners and the pattern of the cages is totally different, and it's not consistent, so it's a little bit more difficult to come up with a route for the level if you're optimizing it than if everything were just super predictable. It's one thing I'm coming to appreciate about some levels is... Oh boy. That would be a bad time to die. I'm really coming to appreciate lack of predictability. Especially in a level like this where there's 4 quadrants. One of the tropes that I really despise in level design when it comes to Chip's Challenge level design is this idea of having 4 quadrants, and I don't know, it's usually, the reason why I don't like it is because usually it's used in such a way that the quadrants are all the same, or at the very least they're very similar enough that the differences are just really trivial. And I really don't like that. I think it cheapens levels. It basically makes them a lot more tedious in a lot of respects, and I don't know, the whole thing is just not fun. Anyway, this level is called One Who Raids Tombs. It's by Eddie Lim, who designed Pixelated Fire, and it's also from his set Never Stop Gaming, which is a 50-level collection of levels. It's a pretty easy level. It sort of reminds me in some ways of a level Jeffrey made in one of his custom sets called Wastelands of Tabora, I believe was the name of it. And I think I may have missed a chip back here. I always miss this one. Here it is. I wanted to get that before I got, because I always forget that one. But yeah, Wastelands of Tabora was a lot more difficult. This level is way simpler by comparison. Yeah, it's a very simple progression level that has a campaign-style structure with a lot of linearity and whatnot. So this room's interesting because you have to use a couple of blocks on the trap buttons, but you also have to use some blocks on bombs. So let's blow that one up because that'll grant us access to this bomb as well as the trap button up there. There we go. And then we got some blocks here. So we're going to have to use one over there. But for now, I'm going to go in here and check things out. Looks like we got more blocks with stuff underneath them. A blue key. I really like this room right here because I'm personally a big fan of levels where the whole monsters have unconventional tiles under them thing kind of gets turned on its head. And it kind of gets turned into a, hey, some of these monsters you have to approach one way, but some you have to approach another way, you know? And that's always really interesting. I really like that a lot. Like in Shrub, that was used to great effect. Alright, so this is a recessed wall pushing maze. And over here we got some more stuff. This paramecia. It's interesting because in optimization, that definitely can turn into quite an equalizer. So you want to watch out for that one. Get that chip. And then we let go of all the blobs. In Links, this section is way more difficult because the blobs move a lot differently. But we're only one chip away from solving the whole thing, and I'm trying to remember where it is. Was it here? I'm getting a little worried. We should have had the level done by now. Did I forget a chip? I feel like I did. There wasn't any additional stuff down there, no. I feel like there was something in this... No, it wasn't in this room. Oh, I know where it is. I know where it is. It's past that tank. Yeah, it's right there. Thankfully, the level is kind enough to let you go through it a second time if you ever miss stuff. And I don't think there's any... Yeah, there's no boots until this very last section, so that's not an issue. Alright, so now we can grab the fire boots, and we can use those to grab the exit, which is down over here. Really, really fun. I like that level a lot. Tropical Hibiscus, another Josh L6 level by Josh Lee. So, fun fact about this one, this level actually uses the wall pattern of one of my own levels, which was in CCLP4, which is Twisted Chambers. This was the force floor room in that level. we're actually kind of going in reverse order. And I forgot just how weird this was to solve casually. When you solve this... Ah! Okay, let's not make any silly mistakes. It's funny, I feel like I've been a lot more casual about dying ever since that first death. And part of it is the fact that I died. I'm like, okay, I'm not actively trying to avoid it as much as I used to be. But I think the other part of it is I'm still trying to get used to this new keyboard on this new computer, because the arrow keys are all differently sized, and that kind of bothers me, not gonna lie. Okay, let's just try to be careful about this. But yeah, I really like the aesthetic of this level. It's definitely very different. The pink balls on the force floors are something that's definitely not seen in many levels, so I can appreciate them on that front. You might think that that hint there is one of the secret hints, but as it turns out, it is not. So I'm not going to worry about it. Actually, no, I will go back and read it. Just for you guys. Alright, so now we can use that to go through the trap, push that, and then move on. Grab that. Yeah, this is cool. We got a ball carousel here. I'm calling these things carousels because of the level from CCLP1. I don't know if anyone else does that, but I do that. Come on, there you go. Okay, so now we can go through here and grab the suction boots, and we can traverse the rest of the level to the exits. But first, let's go and look at that hint. You should probably be looking for the exit. No kidding. We can't go through there because there was a pop-up wall there. So we'll go this way. Ta-da! Alright. Detonation Station. So this is a level that Josh made in Josh L5, and for those who haven't seen the Let's Play I did of it, the level was originally called How I Learned to Stop Bombing and Love the Worry. It was a sequel to an earlier level, which was named after the famous film, How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. I liked that title a lot, but it was a really long one, and it didn't really make a whole lot of sense without the previous level in the set, so I thought this title would be better, and I feel like I lifted this title from somewhere, but I can't remember where. Like, it's on the tip of my tongue, but I just can't remember. Maybe it was an original title. I forget. Okay, let's grab that ship. Optimizing this is definitely a lot of fun. Like, it's a lot more fun than I was expecting it to be. Alright, we just need to build the right path here. Oops. I accidentally deselected the window somehow. I've been noticing that happens a lot lately. My computer just auto-deselects stuff, and it's really irritating. Alright, let's just approach it from here. That's a lot quicker. Thankfully, there's an exit on every corner, so if we ever get low on time, we know that we don't have to go to a specific place, which is really nice. Alright, breaking into this section is a little weird, if I remember this correctly. Yeah, this is definitely a very inventive idea. I like the concept a lot. Alright, there's the last one. Alright, there we go. Ta-da! Moving on to In the Walls of Gravel Castle. This is a level I actually just optimized recently in Lynx, and then it inspired me to go back to MS and optimize it there, but it turns out there wasn't any additional time to be found that at least I could find. Maybe there is, I don't know, but I always get worried when I'm the only one who has bold on a level, because sometimes that means that it's just a matter of people not having looked for it yet, and I'm missing something really critical. So one thing you can do here in MS only is you could have used the headbanger glitch, which wasn't explored in CCLP2's Flame Boy, to get that chip without going through the glider there a second time. But it's... I'd rather do it the intended way, to be honest, so... let's do that. And then we'll go here and put that there. So now we can just push the other ones through like normal. Alright, so this section really reminds me a lot of the Ancient Temple from CCLP1. In fact, I think that's what inspired it. It's very similar to that gravel area there. And this is a little tricky because you want to work around the teeth, but you don't want to collect that chip because we're going to have to push this block in there. You want to make sure... well, I guess that's only for optimizing. You could get it now, but the route would be longer for later. But that's alright. I mean, it's not really something that you have to worry about casually speaking. But I like the fact that that's there. It kind of makes the level a little less trivial to optimize. Whoops, didn't push that one down. There we go. Okay, so now we grab this block and we push it up to the bomb at the top. Boom. Now we got a new area here. Okay, here we go. And that is the correct path. This kind of reminds me a little bit of Arctic Flow with these groups of blocks. Because there's another one here. And we enter through that right there. Alright. Let's grab that. Go down here. Get that pesky fireball to hit these trap buttons for you before proceeding. Don't disturb its path afterwards. Simple enough. Alright, so we can't actually go through the trap yet. But we need to get a green key. Where's a green key? Ah, here we go. You know, it's funny. I've noticed that a lot of hints use the term pesky to refer to monsters after Traffic Jam did it in CC1. Or not Traffic Jam, Traffic Cop. There isn't really an official level called Traffic Jam, is there? I know there's been custom levels called that, like Andrew Gapik made one. I know there's been others elsewhere. Alright, I think we're done here now, so we can go through here. Get that. This outer and inner ring of gliders is pretty cool. I really like the way that looks. Not to mention that the maze formed by the water is pretty neat. And now we can move downward to this long path that leads to the exit. Really fun. Really, really cool. Alright, periodic lasers. This is from Pit of Wonder Tiles by Andrew Menzies, which we also played. Watch the clock. Every 20 seconds, the security system will shoot lasers into the other room. Alright, so we got to make sure that we switch rooms around the 20-second intervals of the clock. So once the clock gets down to 180 seconds, we better be out of here. Can I make this? I don't think that's going to work. No. There's a clone machine down there that's not working. That's oh well. Alright, let's try it again. It's not like you can really bust the level by doing that. Because, I mean, you would just have to stay there for a long time, and that's pretty much a waste of time, so. I don't think that ever got fixed. Did it get fixed? I can't even remember. Okay, here we go. Alright, there we are. So now let's work down this side. Can I get that one chip there? I'm curious. Alright, we did get it. Good, alright. Let's get the rest of the stuff in this room. And then we can go this way. I think we should be able to get the last 3 chips no problem. Come on, guys. Work with me here. There we go. That one at the bottom there takes quite a while to get just because of the distance that the fire creates. But not really too much of an issue. Alright, periodic lasers is done. We're coming up on the 30-minute mark now, so I think I'll go ahead and stop the video. Next time we're going to move on to Ghetto Piranha. We're going to do that in the next video, so thanks so much for watching, everybody. If you guys liked yourselves today, don't forget to if you guys enjoyed yourselves today, that's the phrase, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that bell so you get notified in the next episode. But until then, thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you on the flip side.